Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS that rule well. Okay, and peace, love, and citations to the elect of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah. All right, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird abroad. Okay, who may look like the other nations and act like the other nations, but your spirit, all right, which is carried through your bloodline, okay, through your father's seed line, okay, your bloodline goes back to an Israelite man, black, Latino, Native American man, okay. Shalom. A quick lesson, man. But before I hit the hay, all right. I seen this TikTok a couple days ago, and I'm just now getting around to doing a lesson about it, man. This guy, okay, he goes into why you shouldn't be eating liver, okay, which is an organ, okay. And Manata Zakba did a lesson months back, all right, maybe a year back, about if we should be eating, according to the Bible, all right, what the Lord thinks about us eating organs like liver, kidneys, tongue, beef tongue, hooves, chitlins, and these organs, man, eyeballs, because Jake, in the Jake community, us blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the wicked of our people be eating organs, man, pig's feet, beef liver, cow tongue, growing up, I'm like, ew, what the hell, but it's normal, and
If you get one thing from this video, it's that organ meats are not good for you. When they do biopsies on animals, like their liver, and then they do the biopsy on the muscles of that same animal, there's 10 times on average more BPA in the liver than there is in the muscle. The liver is the cleaning organ of the body. And then they do the biopsy on the muscles of that same animal. There's 10 times on average more BPA in the liver than there is in the muscle. The liver is the cleaning organ of the body.
You hear that? The cleaning organ, okay? Most of the organs, all right, in any animal, okay, are cleaning agents. They're cleaning agents. They're cleaning, filtering systems, like your lungs. Well, why would you eat lungs, man? Your lungs are they filter out the air, okay? They store toxins that you breathe in, all right? And it lets your body absorb oxygen, and it exhales and filters out the toxic stuff that you breathe in, Okay, that's why we don't immediately die when we inhale like something slightly poisonous, man, because the Lord blessed us with, gave us lungs to filter out, bad air, and that's just one example. Jake be eating, I forgot what it's called, intestines. I'm like, ugh, man. My wife, she told me, her family back in the day, she used to watch them, man. They said, take out the intestines of a animal, clean it out, clean it all out, make it clean, and they put it in a soup. They make it in a soup, and they chew on it and eat it. I'm like, oh man. I remember having that as a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and my aunties and my uncles, specifically my aunties, I had more aunties, and they would tell me, oh, that's the best part. Eat the fat. Oh, that's the best part, man. And then I would like chew on it. I'm like, oh man. And then I'll try to convince myself that it's healthy for me when it's really not, according to the Bible, man. Eating the fat, that's disgusting, man. We're not supposed to be eating fat, blood, organs. We're supposed to be eating the flesh, the muscle of the animal, okay? All right? Oh, the tongue is a muscle. If you want to, technically, yeah, But I'm not gonna eat no beef tongue. Jake, Northern Kingdom, Mexicans be eating beef tongue. What's it called? It's in the tacos, man. It's not carne asada. It's the I forgot, man. All I eat is chicken, pollo, or carne asada tacos, man. You know, if it was up to me, I would eat carne asada tacos without the fat. It would just be straight beef, but that's expensive. And Jake, I don't, I usually just buy tacos because they're cheap and on the go, and I just need some protein, so some food, man. And beef is pretty healthy for you, man. But yeah, we're not supposed to be eating organs because they're filtering organs, man. Okay, and that they carry toxins. They store toxins and they flush them out eventually, man. Like kidneys, they filter out your blood. The liver filters out, alcohol, stuff like that, man. Intestines filter out food, waste, fecal matter. And you're eating that shit. It's like if I'm, raging. It sounds like I'm raging, but hey, man, just seeing my people, I say this a lot, man, seeing my people do the things that they do, and they look at me and us men of the Lord and talk shit on us, look at us weird, as if we're stuck up or wicked, I'm like, well, y'all are wicked, man. I'm like, man, and then you wonder why our people got fucked up bodies, fat. Their body proportions are freaking weird. They look like monsters, man. Got fat, and a fat ass neck. They look like a freaking monster off of a fucking video game. Excuse my language, man. Slovakia. But man, our people irk me, man. They complain about their health problems, and then when we tell them, hey, you're probably because of what you eat, and then we're the enemy because we suggest that, hey, man, we're really telling them the truth, man. Because really, most health problems stem from what you eat. Probably eating too much meat, or too much sugar, too many carbs. Eat more fruits and vegetables, man. But now our people are way overboard, way left. They're eating pork, stuff that the Lord commanded us not to eat. Pork, clams, shellfish and whatnot, catfish, And I'm like, dude, come on, man. And then when we tell them, hey, man, we're not supposed to be even eating that. What do our people say? They say, you can't tell me nothing, man. You can't tell me what to eat. Hey, man, we're just showing you love, like the scriptures say. Keeping the commandments is love. And us showing the commandments upon you, treating you according to the commandments and laws of Yahweh Shema Shai, that's true love, man. Telling you that you shouldn't be eating pork. Telling you that you shouldn't be eating organs, liver, pig's feet, intestines, the outer lining of the intestines. That's love. Us telling you to not do that, that's love, man, because we know that's what the Lord told us not to do, man. All right. The Lord's ways are higher than our ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are the Lord's ways higher than our ways, and our thoughts than his thoughts, roughly paraphrasing, The Lord knows better, man. The Lord created all things. What, you don't think the Lord, all right, what you think you worship, okay, that, knows better, knows what's right and what's wrong? He told you not to eat pork. He told you not to be eating organs. And I'm going to bring out some precepts about it, man. And here you are, still doing it and complaining about your health problems coming up to us. I don't want to hear shit from our people no more. But they're going to talk, they're going to complain. Our people don't want answers. They want to hear smooth things, prophesying to us deceits, like the scriptures say. Don't prophesy unto us right things. Prophesy unto us smooth things. Prophesy unto us deceits. Because our people want to be comforted. They want to be told that, hey, it's okay, that, you got gout, that you look, you got, dark skin around your neck, you got the cysts around you, you know, blemishes all around your face and body, you know, stretch marks everywhere, hair growing out of weird places, you know, high cholesterol, you're tired, your legs look like elephant's feet, you know, because of the shit that you eat, man. And Slakia, if I'm, you know, like it sounds like I'm raging, but man, the scriptures say, wisdom makes a wise man mad, man. All right, making a man mad, because knowing the wisdom of the Lord and then looking at the world and the way it is, it makes you pissed off, man. Because it's our people, our own beloved people, man.
It is the trash can of the body. We store toxins in the liver until they can be processed at a later point in time. And that just goes for the ones that people will say are obvious toxins like BPA. But if you followed me at all, you know that I am a huge proponent of avoiding your intake of vitamin A and copper, and I view those as toxins to our systems as well, and to animal systems as well. There's a reason why 90% of vitamin A is stored in the liver, and like upwards of 60 to 80% of copper is stored in the liver. Your body is housing these things until it can release them. All right, babies within the first decade of life release as much copper as they can out of 60 to 80% of copper is stored in the liver. Your body is housing these things until it can release them. All right, babies within the first decade of life release as much copper as they can out of.
I seen the rest of the TikTok. He just goes in depth about, you know, the liver, you know, why you shouldn't be eating liver, you know. But it's plain as day, man. You know, the liver stores toxins and certain vitamins, you know, that our body, our stomach can't take all in, you know, the same amount. But the muscle, all right, of the animal, okay, that the Lord commanded us to eat, has the right amount of vitamins and nutrients that our stomach can handle at a time, you know. And especially the vegetables and fruits, man. All right, those are ready for us to eat. There's no side effects when it comes to eating those, man, for the most part. Okay. So let me get this. Let me get one precept. It's Proverbs 14:12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man. All right, eating organs, eating shellfish, because they're high in vitamins, high in zinc. Okay, you know, there's these TikTok channels that, you know, that I watch sometimes, and it's these gym bros, these gym guys, who are all about increasing your testosterone and be, you know, and they, you know, they make tier lists, like top lists of the best foods you could eat to increase your testosterone, and they always add like clams and beef liver, you know, and lamb's blood, you know, when the Lord told us not to eat that stuff. Because clams, you know, or shellfish, they're high in zinc, and zinc is a big proponent to building testosterone. But hey, the Lord said, if you want to eat anything out of the ocean, out of the waters, it has to have fins and scales. Clamshells don't have neither of those, man. Okay. No, you can't eat catfish because it doesn't have scales. It may have fins, but it doesn't have scales. Okay, it has to have fins and scales. All right, if it has fins and scales, you could eat it. Okay. All right. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So, hey, there's some foods, or they're technically not foods, all right, because the Lord told us not to eat them, but there's some meats and things that people eat, all right, that they might be high in a certain nutrient, all right, you know, but there's side effects to it, man. Okay, you know, it may hurt you in this area, okay, like the dude said, you know, beef liver, it's healthy for you, you know, to build testosterone, but it's high in vitamin A and copper, which can mess your system up and toxify you, actually, man. All right. And clams and fish. I mean, clam. Was it clam shells? Shellfish. All right, which are not even fish. Shellfish. How do they eat? They filter the water out. So they eat the gunk that's flying around in the water, and they filter out and they extract the nutrients from it, man. And you're eating that, man. You're eating a vacuum, a dirty vacuum, okay? And it's not even a fish, okay? You're eating bugs, And out of all the bugs and insects, the Lord said that we can only eat the grasshoppers, the locusts, okay? We're not supposed to be eating any other type of insect, all right? And there's probably some scientific reason why, all right? So yeah, there's a way that seemeth right unto him, man, all right? There may be some health benefits here and there, but hey, the Lord knows better. The Lord knows, all right? He knows. You don't, man. But the end thereof are the ways of death. So if you eat beef liver all the time, all right, you're going to toxify yourself and you're going to have health problems. And that's what this guy goes into in the TikTok that I showed you. I just didn't let it play. But he goes into that, man, him seeing or having people talk to him about eating beef liver pills, and it works for a little bit, but then these people get side effects later, and it doesn't work. They get problems, all right, because you're not supposed to be eating liver, man. Thus saith the Bible. It doesn't say liver in general, but hey, let's get it, man. All right, this is Exodus. This is Leviticus 3:17. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start at Exodus. Leviticus 3 and was it 3 and 4? Slakia. Okay, it says. Okay, let's start at 3. It says, and he shall offer the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Okay, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards. Okay, so we're supposed to cut off the fat from the muscle of the animal. Okay, verse 4, and the 2 kidneys, all right, which is an organ. Okay, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, and the kidneys, it shall he take away. Okay, so you're supposed to cut the kidneys out, cut out the organs, man, and the fat. Okay, and take it away. All right. Verse 5 says, and Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar, all right, for a sacrifice unto the Lord. Okay, upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire, it is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Okay. All right. So, that's for the Lord, man. Okay. That's what the organs are for. Okay. For sacrifice, to give to the Lord. All right. The Lord eats that part of the animal. Okay. Spiritually, man. Okay. Verse 6, it says, and if his offering for a sacrifice of peace, offering unto the Lord, be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron's son shall sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar, and he shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord. All right, the fat thereof and the whole rump, it shall he take off hard by the backbone. Okay, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them. Okay, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver. All right, with the kidneys, it shall he take away, and the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto the Lord. All right. Okay. So the Lord commanded us to not eat organs, man. Okay. Slakia. Or fat, you know. Okay. All right. So we're supposed to cut out the fat of the animal. Okay. And there's a reason for that too, you know, scientifically, because, you know, animal fat is really high in cholesterol, man. All right. Yeah, our body needs cholesterol, but that's too much cholesterol, you know. And there's probably other reasons why too, scientifically. But hey, we're not supposed to be eating animal fat like that, man. Okay. All right. Tobit 6:4 says, to whom the angel said, Tobit 6:1. Okay, it says, and as they went on their journey, they came in the evening to the river Tigris, and they lodged there. And when the young man went down to wash himself, a fish leaped out of the water, out of the river, and would have devoured him. Then the angel said unto him, take the fish. And the young man laid hold of the fish and drew it to land, to whom the angel said, open the fish, and take the heart, and the liver, and the gall, and put them up safely. Okay? So the young man did as the angel commanded him. And when they had roasted the fish, they did eat it. Okay? Then they both went on their way till they drew near to Ecbatane. All right? All right, it says, then the young man said to the angel, brother Azarias, to what use is the heart and the liver and the gall of the fish? Verse 7, and he said unto him, touching the heart and the liver, okay, if a devil or an evil spirit trouble any, we must make a smoke thereof before the man or the woman, and the party shall be no more vexed. As for the gall, it is good to anoint a man that hath whiteness in his eyes, and he shall be healed. And when they were come near to Rajas, all right. Yeah, man. The organs aren't supposed to be eaten. You know. All right. All right. They're for an offering, okay, to the Lord. All right. You give it to the Lord, and the Lord, he takes care of you, man. For doing what he commands you to do, man. All right. And that's what the angel was explaining. All right. All right, this is Leviticus 29:12. It says, and thou shalt take of the blood of the bullock, and put it upon the horns of the altar with thy finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. Okay. Verse 13, and thou shalt take all the fat that covereth the inwards, and the caul that is above the liver, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and burn them upon the altar. Okay. All right. And that basically just, it's a precept to Leviticus 3. All right. What I read earlier, man. Okay. And this is Leviticus 3:17. It says, okay, this is just continuing on. Verse 17, Leviticus 3:17. It says, and it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Okay. So yeah, man. And some of these organs, carry blood, even when you cook them and whatnot. But still, man, we're not supposed to be eating fat, blood, all right, and organs. Okay, we're supposed to be eating the muscle of the animal. Okay, the flesh. Oh, organs are flesh too. The Bible doesn't specifically say you can't eat, organs. But hey, it just told you what you shouldn't be eating. You give it to the Lord. Kidneys, all right, the gall, and fat, All right, the Lord said, don't eat that. Cut it out. You know, that's for him. That's for the Lord. You know, and if you can't get that, if you can't understand that, man, you know, that's a stumbling block that the Lord put up in front of you, man. All right, you know. So yeah, man, should we be eating organs? No. Okay. Why? Well, most importantly, man, Yahweh Shai told us not to. He said, cut it out of the animal. Okay. Don't be eating it. Okay. Those are the ways of the heathen. Okay.